And we've reached the next stage on how the bloody hell these Italians and Chinese wired up the headlights on this bike. Been inside, checking the wire diagram on the main lever, acquired, and learnt a little bit more. Because of how badly they've written it and designed it, it's quite hard to see it all in one go without your eyes and mind just playing them apart, but I'm going to redesign it myself, make it a lot easier to see and understand. For now, we're just focusing on headlights. As I was wondering earlier, what are these two wires? I know they're positive lines, but where exactly where they're coming from, positive wires, and they're coming from the headlight control unit, essentially a relay, which is over here. And there's your wires. The other two there, I'm guessing one's ground and one's a positive line. How them two function I do not know. Maybe just switching the two wires around on that may do something. I don't know yet, but we're going to look into that later. I've contacted my friend, he hates the system just as much as I do, and he's happy for me to pop over and have a try on a few things and see what we can do. Because obviously I can't test everything without that. It needs something here. But I thought, for now, let's understand the rest of it. The headlight unit itself. As you can see here, we have 4 connectors on the headlight. Here it is here. We have a dark blue, a light blue, a yellow, and a black, which is, I'm assuming, for ground, as you can see here. Each wire, when power is received to it, basically lights up different LEDs on the unit. So at the minute, I've wired it up a little bit so we can test it just with a battery, just this area, just with the battery, to see what they do and show you what they do. And we're going to do it real quick. So, move that up a little bit, makes it a bit easier to see. As you can see, none are on. So, we're wondering what each one is. So we're going to say, right, side lights. What? So which ones are the side lights then? This yellow one here, as we discovered. So if we put a connector into it, it takes some trick to do, but there you go. It's on. And that powers them two. Your two far left and far right lights. So that would be essentially side lights, as we figured out. Okay, so they are pretty much on all the time. Our problem is these two here. As we go to switch between dipped and full, it just basically switches between these two here. Because as we can see now, if I take this wire and we go to light blue, as I put on the diagram, it lights up the two inner LEDs. But if we go to dark blue, push, as you see, now we have just the bottom beacon on, as you can see in the diagram. So, how do we fix this and basically put it so when we put full beam on, our dip stays on as well, without laggy bands and fubbling between these two switches? As we can see, this is what happens. So far I've come up with several ways, and as I said, I could be able to pop to my friends and test some of these theories. One of them being is I go to the headlight control unit and I swap, I'll put it here, do it this way, easier to understand. I go to the headlight unit and basically swap them two around. So where the red and white goes, and the red and yellow, I swap them around. And that will theoretically do that. Now what that'll exactly do from the headlight control unit, I'm not too sure. I know when it powers the dark blue, obviously it will do as we intend it to do. Unfortunately, as it powers the light blue, I have no idea what it would do yet. That's where we need to figure it out. That's the next step. That may be the fix, and as said, if it is the case, it's just essentially where you would take the relay, change them 2 wires, or go from the front, and we have 2 wires there, and you'd swap them around there, and essentially that would just swap the function over. Well, that would swap it from the switch, that one would swap it from the headlight control unit. These are 2 different methods I've got to test out. Failing that, I will be designing a switch from here to here. Design a pen, show the camera, and essentially be just a bridge switch, more of a toggle switch instead, so some sort of bridge switch where you can, you know, maybe like a little toggle switch or something like that to bridge it off, instead of a lever switch which just as you push it down it flicks back up the meter and let it go, which is useless. However, that's obviously, it doesn't take long to do of course, however it revolves, you know, cutting into here and designing a bit of a switch. The method I'm thinking of, if it works, requires no building, it just requires disassembling 1 connector and swapping 2 wires around. More on this will be on later. I've just got to just test a few things, test a few theories, but for now I'm very close to solving this mystery, very, very close indeed. Eventually all your TNT 125 owners will be able to ride at night with much, much more joy. But for now, AB Bikes out.